Hey, what's up guys? Guardian here, coming to you guys with a new video. It's been a couple of months I think since the last one. Haven't particularly felt like doing anything recently, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I thought I'd come at you guys with a bit of a chill, sort of fun video where I just talk about the decks that I play. Um, so I have actually recently built a deck in each of the nations, which you'll probably see in the thumbnail if I haven't done that already. But yeah, these decks are currently the decks that I find the most fun, for me personally, in of the nations, but also some of them are choices where they were also quite budget, and I didn't want to spend too much, because I actually almost did this last time, like sometime last year, and it didn't really pan out too well. I didn't really put enough thought into it with, how much I actually care about playing some of these decks. But so far, I've actually given most of these decks a good shot. I'm still learning some of them, like Lyrical, for example. I don't play it as much, but I have played the deck a couple of times. But yeah, we'll go into it. So to start with, we have probably my favorite deck, which is Undercover. So Undercover basically is a deck that resolves around the Monitored Tryst. You put your units into the set order as face down units, and then your Vanguard Medallion calls them out. So you're kind of playing like a hunting game where like you're trying to look for these units, put them face down, and then you're trying to like establish like your optimal setup basically. But yeah, this deck got some pretty good cards after set 6 and set 9, I want to say. This was the card that came out set 9. Basically allows you to add one of those face down cards to your hand if it's an undercover unit. So now we have a way to filter towards our Persona Ride, which is really cool. So yeah. And also something I did for this deck, oh yeah, this is the deck also that I have my Sergions in, and quite specifically this deck because I hate moving this thing around into other Keter decks. So I wanted a deck where I could just stick it in and then just like leave it basically and just not bother moving this. So I thought, you know what, Undercover's the deck. It's the most fun for me personally, and yeah. I also got this thing. So this is the Monitored Tryst, where you actually put the units under this, and I got the frame rare version of it because I tend to call this the window, and this is a window frame rare. I'll have you know. Thank you. Yeah, it's a window frame rare, and honestly, the main reason as well I got this, not just for the joke, but also it's the colors on it just pop really hard. Like black and gold always just mixes really well. I mean, there's a song in it as well, so of course it mixes well. So yeah, this deck though, Genix, this came out with set 6, Divine set 6, I think. So yeah, this was a really good card when it came out. But yeah, it's really fun, and obviously you got like the Shadow Paladin PG, which is always funny, that you can add from like Dyra, the grade 2. Yeah, it's a neat deck, very fun, and I actually played this at a BCS, my second BCS, and I went 4-4-3. I think that was a record. So yeah, pretty cool deck, very fun. The next deck I have is Reziel. So this is my second Keter deck because I have been looking for a deck that doesn't need Sergion, and guess what? Sergion is restricted in this deck, so I don't play it. But I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this deck because for the longest time, Rezel has always just felt like a pile deck where it just plays Keter generics, which for the most part it does. But now we actually have enough support to where we can just get away with playing like the Reziel specific cards. And mostly this card is what changed my mind on the deck, Impervious Dragon. So this basically allows you to get like, it's a 15k attacker on turn 2, and then because you call the grade 1 from your soul, you have a 23k column that you can make, so you have some form of early game, and then it also gets a load of shield as well. It's like a 10k shield from hand, but then if it intercepts, it's a 15k shield, which is really solid, because yeah, this deck needed more ways to guard, basically. It needed more ways to defend itself, and get to the turn 4, turn 5, because like that's truly when the snowball starts to roll, basically. I even put like Twin Cast in here just to like I said, just to up the defense. But yeah, besides from like the gun cycles, this is like a pretty pure build now. I think we're going to be upgrading this deck by taking this out in set 11 with the new Soel, because that's basically a countercharger. and it doesn't require a discard, and you can guard from it from soul, which is really cool. So even more shield. So yeah, I like the direction they've taken the deck now. It's by no means as competitive as it used to be, but it's now enjoyable enough for me to keep this deck around, because I just kept taking it apart constantly because it just wasn't like super interesting to me. But now it's like its own thing, which is really cool. So yeah, those are both my Keter decks I have built, because obviously Keter's my main nation. So I'm going to have two of those built. And I kind of like how we've got like a light deck and a dark deck going here, which is kind of neat. Both of them from the Divines era as well, which is cool. So now we have the other nations. So in terms of the ones that I play the most, first we have Dragon Empire. So Dragon Empire, we have Zed-Lance, which is I call this deck Ting Ting, because he's a blacksmith, and he Ting Tings his armor. And he makes the armor of his rear guards tougher, so you can intercept with them and have a larger shield value. But yeah, this deck got some really good love in this past year. It got some new cards from like set 10, like this grade 2, where basically if you power him up, it powers Zed-Lance up, and he also calls himself back from drop whenever you use the order on Zed-Lance, which is really cool, because rear guard recursion for this deck was like so needed, because it really struggled just having bodies, like just having board presence, it just really struggled with. But yeah, this is the order, the workshop. Makes him get 5k more power, but then if it's a raw iron unit, it has an extra 5k shield and it gains intercept if it didn't already have it. So yeah, very cool. Of course, I've got Shenris for this deck because we use an order. So yeah, that's like the generic for this. This is where my real Regalius for the Fire Regalius is, because my other decks that use it currently have proxies right now. So yeah. Oh god. This card's insane, by the way. So this card is basically like set order support for Dragon Empire, but the funny thing is that Zed-Lance is like one of the only decks, if not the only deck, that can use it. This card's so good, by the way. Like, it's a 15k booster or attacker. Just nuts. And it just adds more consistency to the deck so that you can get to your workshop a lot more consistently. So yeah, because before you had to rely on hoping to see the third workshop or having Zed-Lance available to get to it. And then we also had the new grade 2, this thing from Festival Collection, which also allows the deck now to use Zed-Lance's ability on turn 3. Because before it was like a turn 4 deck, because you couldn't get 3 of the orders set up, but this allows you to restand one of those orders and then use it again. So now you've used it 3 times, which allows Zed-Lance to like do his restand basically and get his power up. But yeah, absolutely insane. So it's a really cool deck though. It's a very thematic, like definitely my sort of style of deck. Yeah, he is like my go-to deck for Dragon Empire. I do own Vermilion for Dragon Empire, which I have profiled him on the channel already. But Vermilion is I just don't click with the deck, unfortunately. It's got stuff going for it, but it's just not clicking with me. But Zed-Lance is very simple, you know, restanding Vanguard, yeah, and just toughen your units up, make them get shield, and just be a very tanky boy, basically. So yeah, that is Zed-Lance. Next, we have... Ooh, who do I do next? Let's do Stoicheia. Because technically I've also had Stoicheia for longer than the other 3. So for Stoicheia, I have Grandfear, which might surprise some of you. I've had this deck for a very long time, pretty much since it came out, because my friend Jack actually got this deck initially, and then I bought it off him like a month or so later, because I was looking for a third nation at the time. And Stoicheia took my interest because, first of all, we just have like this very classy British wolf that loves his garden. That's basically what Grandfear is. He just loves his garden. He likes growing his fruit and veg, and he also has his plant wife. So we had the white one to begin with, and then we got the red one recently. And the red one comes from the upgraded Grandfear that we got recently as well in set 10. Was it set 10 or set 9? I can't remember now. Yeah, I think it was set 10. Yeah. But yeah, the new Grandfear, it's basically the same thing. It just takes the abilities of this one, but it makes the red rose now, and the red rose basically gives you the ability to... It pretty much turns your plant gauges into more shield, basically. So, yeah, it pretty much wants you to... oh yeah, we got the turnip as well. This turnip basically accelerates your plant gauges on the noble rows, and it also gives it, more importantly, the ability to resist your opponent's abilities. Because if they could pop it in any sort of way or remove it, you were kind of screwed. So this allows you to protect it, which is nice. So yeah. But yeah, I just like the theme of this deck. Like, look, you've got like a broccoli unit, which, to be fair, this is generic, but I see it like a Granfia card. We've got pepper. Pepper. Mushrooms, we've got like a whole garden going on here. And yeah, it just looks really cool aesthetically. And obviously we've got like busted cards like Rosarian Fairy, to where this is pretty much the win con of the deck. Not going to lie. But yeah, Granfia, I've had him for quite a long time, and I'm hoping he will get a bit more love in the future, and not just, what he got in set 9. You could definitely do like another rear guard or two, I think. But yeah, he does have a little bit bigger of a deck box, though, because I need space for the tokens as well. But yeah, Granfia is he's a good lad. He's a good lad. He hits really hard, though, which is cool. Alright. So those are the 3 nations that I tend to play the most, or technically I've had those 3 nations for the longest. Now we have the other 3. So in terms of the next one that I play the most is Dark States, and we have Time-Stamping Dragon. So Timestamp is, it's pretty much Time Leap, more or less. Now this deck I actually have an order right now, because currently I have the Bruce ride line in here, because we're going to be upgrading this to the new Gear Dragon ride line that comes out in Divine Set 11, which is really cool, by the way. Like, it's such a good ride line for this deck. And so we also get like new Gear Dragon support as well. Obviously the new Gear Dragon can use it, but Timestamp can use it as well, so that's neat. But yeah, I tried really hard to just make this deck work. We got really cool cards like Parrot in Festival Collection, which is a really helpful card for this deck. And yeah, it's seen some rough times. I've got like a couple of generics which work with it. These are just like fillers, basically, just to help out with like numbers, making like magic numbers. But these are probably coming out for the new double rare, I think. The new grade 1 double rare, I think, is what's that coming out for. Obviously, I've got like the Gear Chronicle PGs there. I think I just have purple OT in here just because I'm not using it in anything, and it's purple, so Dark States. But yeah, that is it for Timestamp. Not a whole lot to talk about him. He's just a fun deck. He's just really cool. This deck has potential, I think, because it just refills its hand really well, and it just has power issues. So I think once that gets solved, the rest of it is actually pretty solid. So yeah, Timestamping Dragon for Dark States. I bet that was a surprise for some of you. Alright, so now we have the final 2 decks for Brandt Gate and Lyrical. So for Brandt Gate, I decided to pick up Rotovisor. Now, admittedly, this was because the deck was cheap. And anyone that knows Rotovisor knows why it's cheap, because it's not good. And it wasn't until I picked this deck up to how I found out. Because obviously I just never bothered looking at it. I never really understood. But now that I own it and I've played it, I understand. I understand the rough time this deck's had. But the reason I picked it up, like I said, because it was cheap, but also because I was looking for a deck in Brandt Gate that kind of had the Nova Grappler theme to it. And this deck got recommended straight away because, it's basically just a bunch of robots, right? It's basically just a bunch of Nova Grappler robots. And yeah. The main thing was, the dead giveaway was the fact that it's got a set order called Nova Grappler Arena. Do I need to say more? I don't think so. But yeah, this deck it needs a bit more. Actually, it needs a lot more, to be honest. It got a new grade 2 from like set 10, this thing. But it's like fine. It's not going to fix the deck at all, but it's like an okay support card, I guess. But yeah, this deck needs more love. Can't say much about it. I haven't played it a whole lot. I played it a couple of times. Actually had a mirror match against my friend Cammy, just for the lols. And yeah, we'll move on. So yeah, final nation is of course Lyrical Monasterio. This nation, there wasn't a lot in it that interested me, but the one deck that did get my attention was Flamme-Glam. And the reason I picked this deck was simply because it's rock themed. It's basically just rocket chicks, and I dig that, Rock is some of my favorite music, and I thought that was good enough reason for me to try the deck. And I did put some new sleeves in this recently, so it's going to be quite awkward to hold, but we'll try our best. But yeah, they've all just got instruments, and you've got guitars, you've got guitarists, drummists, obviously, singers, and yeah, I went. You've even got like the people that make like the music. I put like the PG in here where it's like she's listening to like the headset because like she's listening to the music that the band's making. That's like my theory at least anyway, or my idea of why I went for that. But yeah, deck's pretty cool though. It's I still need to understand it a bit more, but it's not too difficult to learn. I think I've only had like 2 games of it, and with it being like an archetypal deck with like Flamme-Glam names, it should be pretty easy to pick stuff up when this deck gets support. But yeah, it's a cool deck. It's a cool deck. But yeah, that is it for all of the nations. So yeah, we have Flamme-Glam for Lyrical, Rotovisor for Brandt Gate, Timestamp for Dark States. We have Grandfear for Stoicheia. We've got Zedlance for Dragon Empire, and we've got Reziel and Undercover being my favorite deck of all of them. So yeah, that is it for all of the decks that I play for all of the different nations. And yeah, it was took me a little bit of time to get all of this sorted out, but we got there eventually. And it's really fun, because I can bounce between the different decks depending on what I feel like playing. There was one week where I was playing Zedlance, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to play a Grandfear this week, and then I'm just bouncing between all the different decks right now. I do want to get a few more games in with Flamme-Glam to sort of get used to the deck and learn it a bit more. Still not quite used to the deck. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to playing more Timestamp because it's getting some new Gear Dragon support in set 11, so that's going to be fun. You're probably wondering, am I going to profile these decks? Who knows? Honestly, with me and consistency with videos, it's not great. But what I will say is that I probably next might profile Zedlance because he did get some really neat stuff. But then I also kind of want to wait for set 11 and profile Timestamp. Technically, Rotovisor got support and Grandview got support from set 10. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I won't make any promises with what I'll profile, but you can probably expect something from this lot to be shown at some point. So, yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to go rest my throat now because this is like take 3. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, this is Guardian, signing out.